Hi, and welcome to part three. Thank you for still listening. So, on our path back into oneness, if that is what we choose, on our path back into remembering, not even realizing, but remembering that we all come from that pure consciousness, that we are all a spark of that pure consciousness, our children, ourselves, everyone, no matter what the story is that they choose to play out on the surface. On our path back into that oneness, if that's what we choose to do, as we release what obscures our awareness of who we truly are, the pure consciousness, we also learn that our children have their own soul journeys. They too are divine beings growing through their experience. And from a yogic and non-dualistic perspective, the divine mother-father energy, so the two aspects essentially that make up the whole, allow us or allows life rather to flow through all things. Every soul, every being, every child is part of that creation, that divine creation. And as parents, whether we are mother or father, whether we're single mother, single father, whether it doesn't matter what our family looks like, yoga offers us the opportunity to move into a parenting of non-duality and holding space for children and allowing them to be their own being. That was a pretty profound one for me, and it's not easy. It is not something that comes easy to any parent, I think, because it's a very, very natural response that we want to protect our children from harm. That's just the way it is. The deepest message that has come up through all of this for me is the absolute need that we need to slow down. It is so necessary that humanity slows down. And I'm talking the big picture here. I'm talking about moving into slow motion because most people are rushing through life. This driver, he was a young person who caused the accident, clearly was in a haste. He was very rushed. And he acted out of that busyness, out of that hastiness. He did not slow down physically or mentally. If he had paused, even for a moment, and had considered the consequences of his actions, not just on our life or whoever he involved, on his life as well, the accident probably would not have happened. Maybe it would have occurred differently. There's no point in going into what ifs. But if he had slowed down, taken a discerned assessment of the situation, which we call viveka in yoga, discernment, what is truly going on, not what I think is going on, but what is truly going on, this would not have happened. And this to me is a symbol and an expression of where humanity is at, most part, where people are at. So there's so much rushing and very little presence. Most people live in their heads. I know quite a few people who are constantly in their head, in their mind. They're completely unaware of what their space energy, which is their body, their emotional energy, which they also hold, but they're so unaware of it because they're always up here that they don't understand and don't see and don't acknowledge how they're actually affecting their surroundings and also themselves. And so when we do this, we are either in the past or future, but we're not here. Definitely not here, not in the present moment. We are in the present moment through our body and our breath. Our body is always now. It never is in the past or present, in the past or future. It's always here and now. So we need to really, really, really learn to be in our body and not in our mind. When we are truly embodied, presence through breath and awareness, it's impossible to race through life frantically. We can still move fast. We can still make fast, quick decisions, but those decisions then are based on an accurate assessment of what is going on, coming from a point of absolute presence here and now. We can actually be a lot faster when we are fully embodied, but that's a movement that has different dimensions. So that's something else. But in the moment, when we're in the moment, we don't race, and we move with care and with acknowledgement for ourselves and for others. So yoga teaches us to slow down. I say this again and again and again in my classes. Move slowly, but most of all, breathe slowly. The breath has an impact on how we feel in the body, how the nervous system responds, or how we feel through the nervous system, and also on our mind. We absolutely need to slow down and to find the space in between thoughts, in between actions, in between breaths, reactions, responses, whatever we want to call it. It's in that space that we meet stillness. In that space where we just are and where we can meet ourselves, because we are not the thoughts, the emotions, the residue of energy, of experiences that races through us. We are in the space in between. We have just been so accustomed to identifying through body and emotions and thoughts that we have completely forgotten that, and we need to remember it. And in that space, we also remember who we are. When we truly move into that space, the essence of our being, which is an energy signature, we each have our own energetic signature that is very, very subtle and fine and resonates within our body space. It's like a song that resonates through us. And when we move into that space in between, that's where we can hear the song. We cannot hear it when we're constantly busy and allow the noise of our thoughts, emotions, and everything outside overshadow and overtone that very, very subtle, fine frequency of who we are. And it requires this identification with things like body, mind, and emotions and experiences. But when we do it, we connect into a space, into ourselves that is so much more rewarding and so much more beneficial, and life gets a completely different quality. So we miss, when we rush into things, we miss the present moment. We miss the now. We forget that our actions create ripples, create waves out, affecting others in ways we may never see. And yet, in that space in between, we're also all connected. The energy that we send out, our thoughts, emotions, actions, they shape the world around us. And we can keep overshadowing over our own frequencies, overtoning our own beautiful song, or we can choose to move back into that space of stillness where we meet ourselves and create the word from that space. For me, it's a no-brainer. Where do you want to live? What do you want to experience? And the most important thing is that each and every single one of us realizes that we have the power to do this. We just need to start with ourselves. We can create a world of conscious beings who act with awareness, with kindness and care, or we can be one of those people who move around on automatic. I mean, sometimes on automatic is necessary. I moved around right after the accident. I moved around on automatic. because my brain protected me, obviously, from experiencing or from moving into certain emotional responses. I had to sort out stuff, unfortunately, straight away that I wish I wouldn't have had to sort out. So that automatic is necessary. But in everyday life, where there's no apparent threat or no real threat to our life, we can move into awareness. We can connect instead of disconnect with ourselves and others. And we can respond from calm instead of react from fragmentation, separation, and rushing. Where we just need to ask ourselves, where and how do I want to live? What do I want to experience around me? How do I want to create consciously? The change begins with us, and it begins with how we choose to slow down, breathe, observe, and become aware of what we hold in our body space, emotionally, mentally conditioned habits that drives our patterns and reactions. We need to let go of shame or guilt when we do this. We all have these patterns, we all have reactions and automatic responses. Which ones help us to create a beautiful life for us? Which ones are not necessary? Which ones keep us in repetitive loops? So the good news is we can clear that space. And I mean, there's many modalities out there that help us to clear that space. I'm a yoga teacher. I apply the yogic tools, plus other things that I have developed in terms of energy, healing, and transmissions. But the good news is, like I said earlier, we are all the master of our body space. We are the holder, the driver of the speaker. So we also have responsibility over it. We can take it just like we take our car to regular servicing. We take our body into regular servicing, not just physically, emotionally, mentally, energetically, the whole deal. So we can release what no longer serves us simply by choosing to be present, to observe, and then to choose what we can release. So I have a few offerings coming up that work exactly on that assist on recognizing and moving into that space, if we choose to do so, slowly, bit by bit, in our own time, and that also incorporate and contain tools that you can apply every day in your own time to assist you to transition through whatever you want to release. So the first one is a workshop on November 29th. It's called Try Kosher Balance. It's a 4-hour workshop. I think it starts at 1 or 1:30. It's all on the website. So if you want to check it out, it's on my homepage at yogitayoga.com. And I go a little bit into the first 3 layers of our physiology, our yogic physiology, the physical body, emotional, mental body, and energy body. If that is something new to you and you want to learn more about it, I encourage you to come to that workshop, because it gives you an idea of what you hold in your body space. And knowing or knowledge is power. Know what you hold and take action, take responsibility for it. And then we will also move through some gentle practices, and you do receive recordings that you can take home and that you can use in your everyday life. So we give you something that you can continue throughout your the coming months and even years. The other offering is or are 2 online self-paced courses that build on my 9-month journey of Shuddhi Sadhana, which is the journey of purification of body, heart, mind, and soul. And these 2 online offers are designed for you to move through your own process of your reconnection and transformation, purification in your own time, with additional support from me if you need it. But these 2 offerings are designed mainly for people who just want to move through their own thing at home in their own time. One is a more in-depth journey with a full library of recorded yoga practices, meditations, kriyas, which are visualizations, and in a way, meditations that help to balance energy, heart, and mind. The other one is a very, very condensed version of the first one and of the full 9-month journey. It's called Temple of Light. And this is also in the first online self-paced course. It contains energetic transmissions which take you into the energetic architecture of your own being. So it moves even beyond the first 3 layers. It includes 8 recorded transmissions designed to purify and release lower vibrations from your body consciousness, your heart mind, your energy field, and to release whatever you hold that is absolutely not necessary for you to hold in the space that you inhabit. Think of your body like a house. Your body is your house, a multi-story mansion in actual fact, and you have not looked at many corners for many years, and you've accumulated a lot, and this stuff that you've accumulated restricts you in moving through that house freely, in dancing through that house freely, effortlessly, gracefully, because you keep bumping into stuff and it really restricts you. So through these practices, you learn to release, clear your space. And we all like moving freely, I assume. We all feel better when the air is fresh, when space around us is clear, when we can move, when our body feels light. So these offerings help for you to move into that clear, that which doesn't help you to move freely, essentially. So essentially to return back to balance, alignment, and peace. So I hope this wasn't too long for you. If you've listened so far, I'm very, very grateful. Thank you for listening. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. I am sharing the Temple of Light, Shuddhisadhana online courses in the newsletter, but you can also check them out at www.goldendragontemple.com. That's the website for these 2 offerings. And like I said, feel free to contact me if you have questions or would just like to share your thoughts on what I have just shared on the 3 videos. If it has brought up anything for you, triggered anything, by all means, contact me. Feel free to ask questions. Thank you, and I hope you have a wonderful month of November. Bye-bye.